On this week's show, the 108th CFL Grey Cup game was played, and we handed out some hardware in college football.
In this week's history lesson, we tell the story of how the first NFL game in Mexico City was canceled.
That and much more this week in another early morning edition of This Week in the World of Football.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of This Week in the World of Football. This is episode number 227 for December 14th, 2021. I'm your host, Randy Snow, and across the table from me, as always, is my son, Adam.
I'm already tired of morning podcasts. I'm cranky. I don't like this at all.
Well, hopefully your night shift won't last too long.
It lasts another month. This
Oh.
is terrible. I'm annoyed.
Have you ever thought about coffee?
I thought about quitting.
We come to you each week from the World of Football Man Cave, located right here in the the center of the football world.
In the corner of the football man cave.
Kalamazoo, Michigan. We're here to promote the game of football in all its many forms, past, present, and future, from the NFL to the CFL to the XFL, college, high school, indoor, and arena football. We inform and entertain our listeners with the glorious buffet that is the world of football. All this while keeping a close eye on the rich history of the game. Thanks for checking out our podcast. We'd love to get your feedback on one of our many platforms: Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and now YouTube, where we post the entire audio portion of this show, as well as selected video highlights. So, let's review what happened this past week, and we begin with a World of Football scoreboard.
That's right. Thursday night saw an entertaining game between the Minnesota Vikings and Pittsburgh Steelers, where the Vikings were able to escape with a win 36-28. For a while there, it was looking like Minnesota had this game all under control. The Steelers came roaring back, and then at the end of the game, everybody was talking about it. Chase Claypool with the dumb first down celebration on a 4th and 1 or whatever, and the ball gets fumbled. The Steelers lose at least 5 or 6 seconds off the clock because of this stupidity, and end up losing the game. So,
well, that's what everybody does nowadays. They all celebrate, and it goes back to Mark Gastineau with the Jets back in the 80s. I mean, he'd make a sack, and he would dance around, and do all this stuff. Look at me, and nothing's changed. Everybody wants their moment, their 15 seconds of fame after a great play, and it usually is coming in a losing cause. So it makes no sense.
I don't care. It's one thing if your team's winning. Hey, cool, yeah, throw the first, like Roy Williams would do with the Detroit. He'd do the first down every time,
right.
Whatever. I thought that was stupid. But it's a first down. Who cares? In this situation, it's 4th and 1. Your team's down. No timeouts. Clock's running. You get the first down. And instead of hurrying up and getting the ball to the referee, you do your dumb little celebration. And add insult to injury, after the game, he throws his offensive lineman under the bus like it was his fault that they lost all the precious time. He's like, yeah, I did my little thing, and then I went to turn to give the ball to the ref, and then my teammate took the ball from me. Dude, you shouldn't have been celebrating in the first place. You were down. You were trying to go win the game. Why are you celebrating at all? Like, what an idiot. And, God, if I was a Steelers fan, I'd be begging my team to cut him. All right, moving on. The Washington football team fell to the Dallas Cowboys 27-20. Dallas has now won 7 of their last 9 road games against Washington. The Jacksonville Jaguars got eliminated from the playoffs by their defeat against the hands of the Tennessee Titans 20-0. Jacksonville had the fewest rushing yards with 8 in a game in team history.
Yeah, there's a lot going on with the Jaguars right now. With
a lot
their
of
coach
drama.
And everything.
Who knows what's true?
That could be a whole podcast in itself, just talking
I'm
about
sure,
the Jaguars.
talk about the
problems.
Jaguars dysfunction going on right now. I'm sure there's a Jaguars podcast out
I'm
there
sure.
you can tune into. Or
sure.
an Urban Meyer hate podcast. Probably run by some Michigan fans.
It could be.
The Seattle Seahawks got a win over the Houston Texans 33-13. Seattle is now 4-1 all-time against the Texans. The Kansas City Chiefs had no problem dismantling the Las Vegas Raiders 48-9. Kansas City has allowed fewer than 10 points in three straight games for the first time since
2015.
1997.
Is this one of your scoreagami scores?
I can't remember. I don't think. There were a couple of unique scores this week.
I think 48-9. That jumps out at me that maybe that was one of them.
That could have been one of them. I'd have to go back and check that Twitter account. Great Twitter account if you guys aren't following Scoreagami for all the unique scores in the NFL. The New Orleans Saints beat the New York Jets 30-9. New Orleans, it's their first win since week 8, and we're in week 14. So it's been a while for Saints fans out there and the Saints team. And I believe the Jets officially get eliminated too. I think they were one of the eliminated teams. Yep, so the Jets officially eliminated. The Atlanta Falcons defeated the Carolina Panthers 29-21. Atlanta has now won 4 straight road games against the Carolina Panthers. The Baltimore Ravens fell to the Cleveland Browns 24-22 after losing Lamar Jackson to an apparent, I think it was an ankle injury. Hate to see it. Hopefully he comes back. He got a little banged up this year.
Yeah, I haven't heard if he's coming back next week or not.
Yeah,
could be too soon to tell.
Could be too soon, but something everybody should be keeping an eye on. Baltimore has now lost 2 straight division games for the first time since week 16 and 17 of 2016. So it's been about 5 years since Baltimore's dropped a couple of division games like that.
Yeah.
The Los Angeles Chargers defeated the New York Giants 37-21. The Chargers have now won 5 straight games against the Giants. And how about Justin Herbert? He threw one of the most beautiful-looking 60-yard touchdown passes you'll ever see in your life. It was just a nice, just heaving throw down the field right over the guy's shoulder into the end zone for a touchdown. It was glorious if you haven't seen the highlight.
I don't think I saw that.
Oh, you should have saw the highlight. It was great. The Cincinnati Bengals fell to the San Francisco 49ers in overtime 26-23. What a game this ended up being. For a while there, the 49ers were up, Bengals pulled it back. Then the Bengals scored a field goal in overtime, which gives possession back to the 49ers, and the 49ers went and scored the 12-yard game-winning touchdown to seal that one up.
Yeah, this isn't the only overtime game we'll mention this weekend.
No. The Detroit Lions were not that overtime game. They fell to the Denver Broncos 38-10. Denver is now 4-1 against NFC teams this season, 3-5 against AFC teams. And the big story here was not that the Lions got dismantled, not that the Lions had a bunch of COVID issues and literally started 20% of a brand new roster.
Yeah.
But and we'll talk about him a little more later, Demaryius Thomas, former Broncos wide receiver, passed away. Yeah. And it was honored during the game. I thought there was some cool stuff Denver did. To start the game, obviously, they put 10 guys out on the field, left his typical receiver slot open.
Right.
While I believe it was Sutton, one of their wide receivers, stayed on the sideline for that.
I believe so. They incurred a penalty. Detroit declined the penalty, and then they started again.
So it was a nice, classy move by Detroit to obviously not enforce that penalty.
Yeah. Detroit didn't look too bad in the first half, but they really fell apart in the second half of this game.
I think depth eventually became an issue for Detroit. They just couldn't stop nothing, couldn't stop the run. Denver just was able to run it all over them. That was the big difference here.
But it was nice to see some Lions players that we haven't seen since preseason out on the field.
Hey, Lions got some running back depth. I'll tell you what. Craig Reynolds, who we liked in the preseason, finally got his first NFL start.
Yeah, very upset to see him get cut at the end of preseason.
I mean, he's been on our practice squad, but to actually see some game action is nice. It just stinks that we had to have a couple running backs out with injury and COVID to have that happen. Yep. So Denver Broncos players wore number 88 on the back of their helmet for Demaryius Thomas. Something we'll also talk about here in a second. So we'll move on to the Buffalo Bills falling to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in overtime, 33-27. Tom Brady threw a 58-yard game-winning touchdown to a former Lion who got cut at the end of preseason, Brashard Perriman, for also his 700th career touchdown pass, including the postseason.
Just give the Super Bowl to Brady. I mean, why even bother playing it? Just give it to him. My gosh.
That doesn't mean nothing. But what I thought was interesting, they did have a ball boy. Specifically was told as soon as that touchdown is scored, whenever he throws 700, if he throws 700 today, make sure you get that ball. Don't let the receiver hand it to nobody.
Yeah, that was the highlight. You see the receiver in the end zone, and he kind of throws it down to spin the ball, and you see that ball boy or whoever, the kid from the team, just racing out through the end zone to grab that ball so fast. Yeah, that was a great highlight.
Yeah,
I do remember that highlight.
Yeah, and then The Sunday night game was actually a bit of a doozy there in the first half, but then it was all Green Bay in the second half as the Packers destroyed the Chicago Bears 45-30. I say destroyed because of that there was a moment, and a moment you know that you should never ever do to Aaron Rodgers because it usually spells disaster. Because early on in the game, Rodgers got sacked. The defensive lineman did the discount double check right in front of Aaron Rodgers' face. And from that moment on, I think Aaron Rodgers threw 4 touchdowns and 300 something. You don't want to do that to Aaron Rodgers.
Well, weren't there 6 touchdowns in the second quarter? I mean, between the two teams, I thought they had like a.
It was. I don't know if it was 6, but it was.
Quarter.
There was a lot of scoring because Green Bay
kick returns and
the first punt return of the season for a touchdown in the NFL was like 94 yards. That was a heck of a play. Then Green Bay marched down and scored a touchdown. So. It was a fun game for the most part, but that, like I said, that second half got away from the Bears, and Green Bay just showed why they are probably the best team in the NFC right now.
Yeah, the Bears put up a fight. I'll say that. They didn't get totally rolled over, at least for like 3 quarters. But man, oh man.
Yeah, this is the most combined points in the Green Bay Chicago Bears matchup since Week 7 of 1955. No. So, yeah. Got to go ways back for a 75-point combined
That's even
game.
before I was born.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And the Lions had yet to win their last championship at that point, too.
Yeah.
And then in the Monday night game last night, another doozy of a game. The Los Angeles Rams came out with a victory 30-23 to shake up things in the NFC. Arizona, put up a fight there at the end, but man, they just couldn't pull it out. The Rams have now won 9 of their last 10 games against the Cardinals. So we watched a little bit of this game. Arizona was in it at the end, like we were saying. They got the onside kick, but after that, they couldn't do nothing.
That last series, I think they went backwards on every play, about, or incomplete.
That was an ugly drive. Like the onside was great.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my gosh, they could actually pull this out and maybe send it to overtime.
That's all you can hope for is a chance, and they were in decent field position, but by the time the fourth down or the last play of the game came, they were way back there, and they didn't know what they were doing. So 3 more teams got officially eliminated this week. Detroit, Jacksonville, and the Jets.
That's right. Yeah, Detroit was eliminated just after the early slate of games.
But we weren't the first to be eliminated. That was Houston last week. Right. So right now we got 4 eliminated and more to come. So
28 teams still alive in the NFL playoff hunt. Then we had 4 teams on bye. The Colts, Patriots, Dolphins, and Eagles were on bye this week. The last week of byes as we finish out this last stretch of the NFL season.
Yep, 4 weeks ago.
All right, we move on to the CFL, where we had one of the best CFL games I've ever watched, probably.
Well, not if you're a Hamilton fan.
Not if you're a Hamilton fan, but...
And I was rooting for Hamilton.
We were rooting for Hamilton, but the Winnipeg Blue Bombers defeated the Hamilton Tiger Cats in the 108th Grey Cup, 33-25. This game went to overtime. It is the second straight Grey Cup win for Winnipeg. Let's talk a little bit about this game. Quarterback Dane Evans started for Hamilton, but was injured in the second quarter, allowing Jeremiah Masoli to take over. Hamilton had not won a Grey Cup in 4 tries since 1999, and they were even up at halftime, 10-7.
Yeah, Hamilton good by halftime.
Yeah, Hamilton tied the game when kicker Michael Damalga kicked a 13-yard field goal with 6 seconds remaining to send the game into overtime. Did I say that right?
Damagala.
Michael Damagala.
Yeah.
In overtime, Winnipeg got the ball first, scoring a touchdown and a 2-point conversion because in CFL rules, you have to go for 2.
Right.
And then Masoli threw a pass that was intercepted on the Hamilton possession to give Winnipeg the win. This is the first back-to-back Grey Cup winner since Montreal did it in 2009 and 10. Your most outstanding player of the game was Winnipeg quarterback Zach Collaros. And
most outstanding Canadian.
I was gonna get there.
Okay,
Let me get the words out.
I just put
Canadian.
MOC and I didn't know if you remember.
I remember. I watched the game. I saw the award. Winnipeg wide receiver Nick Dembski won that award. He was this was the 4th Grey Cup game to go to overtime. The other 3 being 1961's, 2005, and 2016's. This was a sellout crowd of 26,324 people at Tim Hortons Field in Canada. But the big thing I want to talk about is if Hamilton had not taken that rouge on that last play to go down, that last drive to go down and try to tie up the game or try to win the game,
Yeah.
we'd be talking about a whole different scenario. So everybody in Canada's got to be really getting on that guy for kneeling in the end zone. What a
that was totally unexpected. I didn't think that they would. I mean, sure, he might have gotten not very far getting it out of the end zone. They might have been at the 5-10 yard line, but you got to trust your quarterback. And Mazzoli was playing pretty well at that time.
He was playing all right, but I think at that point in the game, I mean, I forgot about I was like, okay, at kickoff, they can't have rouges on kickoffs, right? But the dude, for whatever reason, you take the knee to get a better field position, maybe. But yeah, I did forget about the rouge there at that point. And I don't know if that guy did. You play in the CFL, you think you're aware of that sort of thing, but. Man, that would be tough if I was a Hamilton fan and saw that. That's Lions-esque kind of mistake right there.
Well, the Hamilton has not won a Grey Cup since 1999, and like you said there, they've been in the Grey Cup game 4 times since then and lost them all. 2 straight now they've lost. This was a repeat of 2 years ago, and I feel bad for Hamilton. Their fan base is awesome, and
that crowd was great.
Yeah, there was a lot of Hamilton fans there.
Halftime show, not so great.
Well, I was watching because it was the Arkells, and they've got that song. They're from Hamilton, and they did the song. The Ticats Are Hummin', which is like the unofficial
but
theme
we all
song.
knew they weren't going to play it.
Well, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure what was going to
show.
happen. Yeah, they kind of had to be neutral, so they did not play that. And they brought the lead singer up into the press box later on in the game.
Broadcast booth.
Yeah, and he was really into the game. He'd be talking, and all of a sudden a play would start, and he'd start going, "Here we go, here we go."
Yeah, like that. I'll give him that. Like if I was in the booth, I'd be like, "I'm here to watch the game. Like I'll do your interview, but as soon as the play's going, I'm not talking. We're watching the game."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, I respect that, dude." But
well, I saw something posted on Twitter, I think, where somebody said that he's the reason they lost the game again. So evidently, he's been in the booth before and cursed them.
Oh gosh,
curses Hamilton for
No, what cursed you was that guy kneeling. And getting that rouge at the end of the game. That's what killed you.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, I thought it was an entertaining Grey Cup.
An entertaining game.
It was a little slow in the first half, but that second half really picked things up. And, especially after having to sit through that terrible halftime show. I'm sorry, Arkells. That was not a great show.
Well, just because you didn't recognize any of the music.
No, it's not. I don't need to recognize. A good show is a good show. Like, I didn't know any of the halftime performers in years past in Super Bowls, and I'm still sort of entertained, or at least had something fun to talk about. It was just a bland, maybe a little too chill of a show. I get that was what they were going for. It didn't work for me. I'm sorry, Canada. It didn't work.
Well, I was surprised at the weather. December 12th, this is one of the latest Grey Cup games ever, stretching into December. Normally it's done by Thanksgiving weekend, here, Thanksgiving in the States. And I expected it to be really bad, but it was like I think 40-some degrees, high
like
30s.
that. You looked up
42 degrees when the game started, and I expected to see snow on the field. I thought this was going to be like the Shania Twain game, when she came out on a dog sled in the snow, but. No, it looked like it was fine, so that surprised me. But yeah, it was fun to watch a Grey Cup live. I haven't watched a whole lot of live CFL.
Hold on, technically you didn't watch it live. We watched overtime live. You had the game recorded because the Lions game was wrapping up.
Yep.
So we had the other game being recorded. So we were like an hour behind at one point.
Yeah. That's true.
So then we were starting to watch. That's why we also couldn't catch up in time because we had to sit through that drivel of a halftime show. I kept saying, "Hey, can we fast forward?" You're like, no, I gotta hear Ticats Are Hummin'. Okay, you could FF to that if that was in the show, but it wasn't. So what a wasted 30 minutes that was. Then luckily,
I enjoyed the halftime.
Then luckily we got to live TV.
Right
as overtime was going. So we could at least say we watched it happen in real time, but
that's true.
Not to that point. All right, that's it for the CFL, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations on completing a shortened season. I'm just glad they got it in. I think the best team did win.
Yes.
Winnipeg.
They've been the best team all season.
They've been the best team.
You kind of knew they were going to be there at the end.
Hamilton took it to them though,
Yep.
So that's all we wanted was somebody to take it to Winnipeg a little bit, and I think Hamilton did that.
Yeah,
it didn't finish it out, but they did take it to Winnipeg. So that's it for the CFL. Can't wait to talk about more CFL next year. Hopefully a nice, big, full, 20-week season.
Yeah.
But,
the Grey Cup in
bring
2
me
years,
the Atlantic Schooners, dang it.
The Grey Cup in 2 years is going to be back in Hamilton, and I don't know if they announced where next year's game was going to be yet. I did not catch that if they did. So
well, I'm sure we'll learn about it right here on This Week in the World of Football.
As soon as I find out, I'll let everybody know. All right, moving on to some.
That doesn't mean much because he could find out like a year from now, like right the day before the game, and then you'll find out. But I'm talking to listeners at this point, not you.
You're not lying. Okay, moving on to some college football. The only college football game, major college game this weekend was the 122nd Army-Navy game at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. Navy defeated Army 17-14. Navy improves to 4-8 on the season. Army drops to 8-4, so I guess you could call this an upset, but really records don't matter.
Not in this
in the
game.
Army-Navy game. No, the Commander-in-Chief's trophy stays with Army after all three teams went 1-1 this season. I got to listen to this game on Sirius XM on my way back from Atlanta. Your mom and I went down, as you know, to see the Georgia Aquarium and the College Football Hall of Fame.
Hence why you're wearing a Hall of Fame shirt.
Wearing a College Football Hall of Fame shirt that I got down there. And it was kind of neat. You know, we just got the Sirius XM mainly for this trip. And when I found the station that had it, they actually had the score on the screen. It would say, quarter 3, quarter 4.
Isn't technology great? Like you're saying this like I didn't know this.
Yeah, I didn't know this. And the scores were updated like immediately. I'm sure there was some kind of a delay, but as soon as a field goal was kicked or whatever, it was right on the screen that you could see.
God, I'd hate to see in a Tesla or something with a big touch screen on the inside. Goodness gracious.
But we'll talk more about my visit to the College Hall of Fame here in a bit.
Oh, please, let's. I haven't heard enough about it already.
But congratulations to Navy for defeating Army. Navy, I don't think is going to a bowl game, but Army and Air Force, I believe, are. Let's see the spotlight on some lower level college football games. In the FCS, it was the quarterfinals of their playoffs, and it was number 8 Montana State over number 1 Sam Houston, 42-19, knocking off the number 1 team. Boy. Division 2, in their semifinals, it was number 2 Valdosta State over number 3 Colorado School of Mines, 34-31. In the other semifinal game, it was number 1 ranked Ferris State from right here in Michigan over number 4 Shepherd, 55-7. So that sets up the Division II championship game this Saturday between number 1 Ferris State and number 2 Valdosta State. What more do you want in a championship game? Number 1 versus number 2. Let's see, in Division III playoffs, their semifinals also happened this past weekend. It was North Central of Illinois over Mount Union, 26-13. Mount Union has been a powerhouse for years. I'm surprised that they didn't make it to the finals. But good for them. Good for North Central. In the other semifinal game, it was Mary Hardin Baylor over Wisconsin Whitewater, 24-7. Wisconsin Whitewater, that's the other powerhouse in Division III. So both of those teams are gone. And I know Mary Hardin Baylor won it a year or two ago. So anyway, this Friday, it's the Amos Alonso Stag Bowl championship game for Division III. And that's going to be played in Canton, Ohio. Normally it's been down in like North Carolina somewhere on the East Coast, I forget. But yeah, it's going to be played in Canton, Ohio at the Tom Benson Stadium next to the Hall of Fame. And it's going to be North Central of Illinois versus Mary Hardin Baylor. In the NAIA, this Saturday, the championship game is going to be between number 2 Morningside with a record of 13-0 versus number 3 Grandview, whose record is 14-0, and that is going to take place in Durham, North Carolina. And then this Friday, it's the National Junior College Athletic Association championship game, and that is going to be between Iowa Western and the New Mexico Military Academy. That game is going to take place in Little Rock, Arkansas. So championship game is coming up this weekend. All the college football world is winding down. We'll have bowl games to talk about next week. I think the first one is this weekend, the 17th, probably Friday or Saturday. And bowl season's here. The other levels are ending their seasons with championship games, so it's an exciting time in college football. And that is it for this week's World of Football scoreboard.
Wow.
Yeah, you look at it on paper, and I mean, we can still talk about this forever, but a lot less scores I had to write down this week.
Yep, and with less CFL next week, I mean, shoot.
Yeah, no CFL now, and just everything is winding down. Continuing with college football news, the 87th Heisman Trophy was awarded And I forgot that's always, like the same night as the Army-Navy game. Right after the Army-Navy game, you can watch the Heisman Trophy get presented. I forgot all about that this year. But Alabama quarterback Bryce Young, who's a sophomore, by the way, was awarded the Heisman Trophy, and this was not a surprise to me at all. I looked at the 4 finalists, and I said, they'll give it to the Alabama quarterback, and of course they did. Not that the other ones weren't deserving, but that's just the way the Heisman Trophy voting goes, and I don't care for it.
I don't either. But one thing I forgot we were going to mention, during the Rams Cardinals game last night, this is another, going back to the stickers on the helmet, something I forgot I was going to bring up, but we were just flying through everything. Demaryius Thomas passed away. The number 88 sticker was worn by his former teammates who are now on different teams, including Matt Prater, the kicker for the Cardinals, and wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins for the Cardinals wore 88, and then Von Miller, who was just recently traded from the Broncos to the Rams, got to wear number 88 on the back of his helmet too. So, and there might have been one other player, I can't remember at the top of my head, maybe that was it, but it was cool seeing, even guys on different teams wearing the number 88 on their helmet for Demaryius Thomas.
Yeah, I'm sure this hit a lot of people hard because, he's only 33 years old.
Only 33,
They found him in his apartment, and there's rumors that he was suffering some sort of seizures. We don't know. We won't know the cause of death for a while, but it's very, very strange and just such a sudden thing that really caught everybody off guard.
Yeah, so that was the big thing out of the NFL. And then the only other NFL story is that the rumor right now is Las Vegas could be awarded the 2024 Super Bowl, I believe. That's the rumor. We'll find out officially Wednesday, but I guess it's not an official story because it's not official yet. It's all just kind of rumor and, insiders say.
Well, as a new stadium, of course they're going to get a
Super
Bowl.
We knew it was eventually, but...
and it was going to be sooner than later, too.
Right.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, back to your college news.
Oh. The only other thing I had that I wanted to talk about was my trip to the College Football Hall of Fame.
All right, well, then we can move on.
We were seeing the Georgia Aquarium, which my wife really wanted to see, and it was fascinating. I really
had some
enjoyed
good videos. Those were cool.
Yep. And when I looked at the map, I knew that the College Hall of Fame was like right around the corner, and it looked really close, but it wasn't that close. We had to walk quite a ways to get to it. I didn't want to move the car because traffic in Atlanta is awful. Oh my gosh. I hated driving in Atlanta, but we had to go through Centennial Park, way on the other side, and it wasn't bad because the weather was actually pretty good. I don't know what the temperature was, but the walk was fine, and we got there, and we actually got in for free because my wife and I are military retirees, so it's free to get into the College Hall of Fame there, and so they gave us these badges. I got one right here.
Perfect for an audio podcast.
Yeah. But I showed you these. It's kind of like a on-field pass or something that you wear around your neck. It's a great big thing.
Yeah.
It's got a QR code.
As press, you should have that all the time, anyways.
Yeah. But they give you this cool lanyard that says Chick-fil-A welcomes you to the College Football Hall of Fame.
Did they have a Chick-fil-A's there?
I think there was one across the street or around the corner. Or
was
something.
it open?
Yeah,
Did you eat there?
We were there on Friday, so no, we did not eat there. We got
what
one
a big
here in
missed
town.
opportunity. You're in Atlanta and you didn't even go to a Chick-fil-A.
But you go in and the first thing they do is they say, a guy meets you and says, "Hey, welcome to the Hall of Fame. Come on over here to this kiosk," and they scan your ticket, and then the screen pops up and it asks you to put in your first name, your last name, and what team that what's your favorite college football team. So of course I put Western Michigan. Your mom put in Michigan, University of Michigan, just for something different. And so as you're walking around the Hall of Fame, they have all these interactive kiosks. And so you either scan your ticket at that kiosk, or sometimes you just have to walk by it, and it'll recognize you, and a little thing come up and say, "Hi, Randy. We've got no beef with the Broncos," and the Western Michigan logo would come up. So that was kind of cool.
Now, hold on. I didn't think about this till just now. Is it beef because of
Chick-fil-A?
Chick-fil-A?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's written like all those commercials where the cows are riding signs.
I don't know why I didn't put two and two together until literally just this moment.
Yeah.
But
So
I hope you share those pictures on your social media.
I did. I put a couple up there.
On the World of Football Twitter.
Yeah. But it was interesting. It was it's a very high tech thing. A lot of interactive things to see. And I used to go to the Hall of Fame all the time when it was in South Bend, and I loved it in South Bend. And I will say that this one is very modern compared to South Bend. It's very high tech, but I really I like it better when it was in South Bend. It had a lot more character. There was a lot more just atmosphere there. This was very sterile, just high tech and sterile. They used to have all the Hall of Famers had a little. It wasn't a bust, but it was like a. I don't know how to describe it. It was a flat piece of ceramic or whatever, but it had the person's face coming out of it and had their name and all this. And I saw maybe a couple in a couple different displays, but now all they get is they get these light up boards with all the names by year. So you can go look at the 1951 class, the inaugural class, and there's all the names of the players and coaches lit up. And then they have other kiosks where you can go and look up more information on all those people. I was looking up Neil Snow, who was one of the. He wasn't in the original class, but he played for University of Michigan. He was the MVP of the very first Super Bowl, Rose Bowl in 1902. So I wanted to look him up, and his grave is in Detroit. I'm going to go visit that this spring. So there was a chance to get a little more information on him and whatnot, but it just wasn't the same. I do like the version in South Bend much better.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. I'm probably prejudiced because, South Bend was only like an hour and a half from here, and but I just thought it was great down there, and this is not the same. So anyway, so we had a good time. We were there for a couple hours, saw all the exhibits. They've got a little movie that you can watch, kind of like the same what the Pro Football Hall of Fame does, the whole game day experience thing. So that was nice, and that wall of helmets, 770 college football helmets between FCS, Division II, Division III, and NAIA. They're all up on the wall, and so if you're a fan of any one of those teams, you can tell them that, and they will light that helmet up on the screen or on the wall. They have like these red lights or yellow lights so that you can see. Oh, there's my helmet, my favorite helmet. So yeah, so it was interesting. I'm glad I went to see it. This was kind of one of my bucket list things to do. I've been wanting to go down there for a while. It's cool. Go see it. You'll probably enjoy it. If you've never been to South Bend, you'll say, yeah, this is a pretty cool place.
Yeah.
It's like 3 stories. You start out at the top level on the 3rd story, and then you work your way down to the 2nd story. And the 1st story is basically just a lobby, so there's not much there. But they had some cool stuff.
Yeah, take a drink of water. You've been talking an awful lot. So, I don't know. One of these days I'd like to get down there. Looked kind of cool, but like you said, you might be a long time before you go back.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's not the thing I can go to every year now. Okay. Arena Football TV on YouTube. They posted a game from 2002, the New York Dragons and the Indiana Firebirds. If you've never seen this site before, go subscribe to it. It's a great site.
Yeah.
If you've ever been to an arena football game, or if you're just fascinated with how that whole thing worked back in the day, go check it out.
Hey, it's great seeing old games.
Yes.
New York Dragons were one of my. I just remember liking the helmet. I bought the mini helmet. It's sitting right over your shoulder. Yeah. You haven't taken good care of it because the decal's starting to kind of peel apart. But I mean, I loved that New York Dragons helmet, and they were kind of like my second favorite team in the Arena League. Probably just because of the name and the uniforms, because I thought New York Dragons was such a cool name.
What was the game that where they scored like 99 points?
It was them and the, I believe if you're testing me at the top of my head, I want to say it was the Carolina Cobras and them did that.
I don't remember. Yeah.
I believe that game is already on the Arena Football TV.
Is it? Okay.
I believe so.
Okay.
I remember watching that game live.
Yeah. Yeah, we did watch that.
No,
live.
You didn't. I was at my aunt and uncle's watching it.
Oh, yeah. Is that when that was?
Yep.
Okay.
So I remember that very vividly. But that is it for Arena Football TV. We're going to move on to some obituaries.
Yeah.
And this is where we take a moment to honor those who have made the world of football a better place.
Yeah, I found out there were a lot more obituaries than I thought this week. I sat up last night pretty late putting these together. But, of course, the
pretty
big
late
one,
to him is 7 o'clock, everybody.
Past my bedtime. The biggest one this week was Demaryius Thomas, a wide receiver in the NFL for 10 seasons. He passed away at the age of 33. The cause of death was not immediately known. Thomas played college football at Georgia Tech and was the 22nd overall pick in the 2010 NFL Draft by the Denver Broncos. He played in Denver from 2010 to 2018 and won Super Bowl 50 with the team. He was traded to the Houston Texans during the 2018 season and finished the season there. Thomas also played for the New York Jets in 2019. So, God, it's only been out of the league for 2 years and gone already.
Tragic to hear.
What a shock.
Guy, he's only a year older than me. Maybe not even that. Maybe a few months older than me.
That's right. Wow. Okay, you want to do the next one?
All right, the next obituary we have is that of Speedy Duncan, a defensive back in the NFL for 11 seasons, has passed away at the age of 79. Duncan played his college football at Jackson State. He was not drafted by an NFL team, but he did sign with the San Diego Chargers and played 7 seasons with the team from 1964 to 1970. He also played for the Washington Redskins from 1971 to 1974. Duncan was inducted into the Chargers Hall of Fame in 1995.
Our next obituary is that of Frank Gallagher, who played guard in the NFL and the World Football League, has passed away at the age of 78. Gallagher played college football at North Carolina. He signed with the Detroit Lions as an undrafted free agent and played for the team from 1967 to 1972. He played for 2 NFL teams in 1973, the Atlanta Falcons and the Minnesota Vikings. And in 1974, Gallagher finished his playing career with the Philadelphia Bell of the World Football League.
Our next obituary is that of Sidney Blanks, a running back in the NFL and the World Football League, has passed away at the age of 80. Blanks played college football at Texas A&I, which is today known as Texas A&M Kingsville. He was selected in the 3rd round of the 1964 NFL Draft by the Chicago Bears and also in the 5th round of the 1964 AFL Draft by the Houston Oilers. Blank signed with the Oilers, where he played from 1964 to 1968. He also played for the Boston Patriots in 1969 and 1970. He even played for the Houston Texans of the World Football League in 1974. Blanks was inducted into the Texas A&I Hall of Fame in 1981, the Lone Star Conference Hall of Fame in 2002, and the Texas Black Sports Hall of Fame in 2011.
Our next obituary is Bill Glass, a defensive end in the NFL and the CFL, dies at the age of 86. Glass played college football at Baylor and was the 12th overall pick in the 1957 NFL Draft by the Detroit Lions. He played the 1957 season in the CFL up in Canada for the Saskatchewan Roughriders before signing with Detroit. He played for the Lions from 1958 to 1961 and then was traded to the Cleveland Browns, where he played from 1962 to 1968. He won an NFL title with the Browns in 1964.
Could have won a title with the Lions if he would have signed right away in 1957.
Probably, yeah.
And then finally, our last obituary this week is that of Mark Pike, a defensive end and linebacker in the NFL for 12 seasons, has passed away at the age of 57. Pike played college football at Georgia Tech and was selected in the 7th round of the 1986 NFL Draft by the Buffalo Bills. He played his entire career with the Bills from 1987 to 1998.
All right, today's birthdays: halfback, quarterback, and defensive back Charlie Trippi. Born on this date in 1921, he is turning 100 years old today. He played his college football at Georgia and was the first overall pick in the 1945 NFL Draft by the Chicago Cardinals. He played 9 NFL seasons, all with the Cardinals. He won the NFL title in 1947, and he was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1968. You know, I was looking online to see if the Hall of Fame was making a big deal out of this, and so far today, you know, it's still pretty early in the day. I've not seen a whole lot on this, but I think that's just incredible that a Hall of Famer is turning 100 years old today.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. And the other birthday today is that of halfback Ernie Davis, born on this date in 1939. He played his college football at Syracuse and was the first African-American to win the Heisman Trophy in 1961. He was selected by the Washington Redskins with the number 1 overall pick in the 1962 NFL Draft, but he refused to sign with the team and was traded to the Cleveland Browns. He died of leukemia in 1963 at the age of 23 and never played in an NFL game. And if you want to know more about Ernie Davis, there's a great movie out there called The Express from 2008 that tells his life story.
I remember seeing that with you in theaters.
Yeah, yep. Okay, I guess we're going to move on, unless you found something else you want to talk about.
Nope, I'm just gathering stuff for our thumbnail.
Okay. This week's history lesson, we're going to talk about the very first NFL game in Mexico City that never was even played.
Oh.
The year was 1968. The NFL was getting ready to play a preseason game in Mexico City for the very first time. The two teams that were selected to play in the game were the Philadelphia Eagles and the Detroit Lions. The game was scheduled for August 11th at Aztec Stadium, which holds 105,000 fans. The week before the game was to be played, about 70,000 tickets had been sold at a price of just 5 pesos, which was around 40 cents at the time. Both teams were looking forward to the out-of-country game. But on Thursday, August 8th, just 3 days before the game was to be played, Mexican authorities abruptly canceled the game. Students in Mexico City had been protesting against police brutality, which had turned into rioting and violence. There were fears that there would be riots during the upcoming Lions-Eagles game. Mexico City was also going to host the 1968 Summer Olympics at Aztec Stadium, beginning on October 12th. Authorities did not want to have the city seen in a bad light leading up to the start of the Olympic Games. Now the Eagles and the Lions had to scramble to reschedule the game. Both coaches wanted the game to be played, and the players would have missed out on a game check if the game was canceled. Detroit was the host team for the Mexico City game, but their home field, Tiger Stadium, was not available that weekend due to the Detroit Tigers baseball team having games scheduled. Luckily, Philadelphia was able to schedule their home field, Franklin Field, at the University of Pennsylvania. So now all they needed were tickets. Eagles ticket manager Leo Carlin contacted the Gold Ticket Company and put a rush order for general admission game tickets. There were no row numbers and no seat numbers on the tickets. Miraculously, the tickets arrived the very next day. The tickets were priced at $5 for adults and $2 for kids. They were available at the Franklin Field box office and at the team's office in the Bulletin Building. The game was played on Sunday, August 11th in Philadelphia, but it did not go so well for the Eagles. On the first play of the game, quarterback Norm Snead threw a pass that was intercepted by Detroit Lions defensive back and future Hall of Famer Lem Barney. Barney was racing towards the end zone, but was tackled by Snead at the 2-yard line. Snead broke his leg on the play and had to be carried off the field on a stretcher. Detroit won the game 20-3 in front of a crowd of 12,176 fans. That's a far cry from the 70,000 fans that had already bought tickets to the game in Mexico City. Snead missed only 3 games, however, before he returned to the team that season. On Thanksgiving Day, the Eagles and Lions faced off in a rematch at Tiger Stadium in Detroit. On a very muddy field, the Eagles got their first win of the season in a 12-0 shutout. The NFL did not return to Mexico City for a preseason game until 10 years later. It was on August 5, 1978, when the New Orleans Saints defeated the Philadelphia Eagles 14-7. On October 2, 2005, the NFL played its first regular season game in Mexico City as the Arizona Cardinals defeated the San Francisco 49ers 31-14. The NFL has been playing international games for many years and will continue to do so as they seek to expand their global presence. But it all started with a game that was canceled in 1968.
Yeah, I mean, when was the last Mexico City game we had?
I think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, but then there was the one that got canceled that ended up being the big game between the
right. Yeah, because of the field
Rams
being
and
tore
Chiefs.
up.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Yeah, a lot of cool. I was looking up images, for the thumbnail, and I found some cool stuff for the game that was never played.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, a lot of neat stuff out there. And I remember you found that schedule not that long ago.
Yeah, what was that? Saugatuck?
Yeah, Saugatuck.
Okay,
Saugatuck, Michigan, right on the lake.
Yep, we went over and we went through a antique store that you had been to before when you were in that area, and so we stopped.
I was like, "You're old. You like old stuff." And we found this 1968 Lions schedule.
Yep.
That didn't look like this one I found on Google Images, but it's a cool schedule nonetheless. And it showed the Lions had a game in Mexico City, which I had no idea about.
Right.
Then to find out that even crazier, there was a story there about how it wasn't played.
You're right. Yeah, it was on the schedule and didn't get played.
And here we are today.
Crazy situation. All right, upcoming events calendar. This Friday, you and I are going to see a screening of American Underdog.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to
Doesn't
that.
come out till Christmas, but we had a early screening, 2 days worth of early screenings here in Kalamazoo. So if anybody else is interested, Friday night, Saturday night, 7:00, they have screenings for this. I'm very excited to see this. Like I said, I don't know how we'll put out some sort of early review for it, or if we'll just wait till the podcast to talk about it, and then maybe put that video up on YouTube. But
I'm so excited to see arena football on the big screen.
Me too. But
This is
earlier
gonna be
that day,
awesome.
we're going to see probably a better movie, which will be the new Spider-Man. We're seeing 2 movies in one day. I'm so excited.
Unless there's arena football in the Spider-Man movie, it's not going to be better than American
You're
Underdog.
bringing in the multiverse, so I'm sure there's like maybe arena football. Then there's probably like moon football. How else can I lie to you to make you get to the theater?
Yeah.
There's probably sun football where they play football on the sun.
Oh, yeah.
Mars football.
Cool.
There's probably like instead of playing on a small field, they probably play like on a big old horse track.
No. All right, moving on here. Also this Friday, the Amos Alonso Stag Bowl, the Division III championship game between North Central of Illinois and Mary Hardin Baylor. Also this Friday, the Junior College Division I National Championship, Iowa Western versus the New Mexico Military Academy in Little Rock, Arkansas. And then on Saturday, you've got the 66th NAIA National Championship game in Durham, North Carolina, between number 2 Morningside of Iowa and number 3 Grandview of Iowa. Also this Saturday, you've got the Division II National Championship game between Ferris State and Valdosta State. That's going to be on ESPNU. I made a note of what channel that's going to be on because Ferris State's here in Michigan, so I really want to see that game. But I'm sure all these other games are going to be on one of the ESPN platforms. Might have to go to ESPN Plus, I don't know. But this championship games normally wind up on one of the ESPN channels. Let's see. And then we move to Friday, December 31st, the Cotton Bowl, featuring number 1 Alabama versus number 4 Cincinnati. And that same day, it's the Orange Bowl between number 2 Michigan and number 3 Georgia. And the winners of those 2 games will play in the national championship game on January 10th in Indianapolis.
January 8th.
No, that's January 10th. But before that happens, 2 days before that, it's going to be the FCS championship game.
There's where I got confused.
And that's going to be on ESPN too. So, yeah, a lot of championship games coming up, playoffs, title games, man, you name it. It's all out there. You think things are slowing down just because the regular season for college football is done? No. Bowl season.
Football never slows down. It kind of
morphs into something else.
It thins out a little bit, but there's still plenty going on.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you may not have watched Division III football, but you can watch the Amos Alonso Stag Bowl and get an idea of what you've been missing all year long. All right. That's everything I had. Anything before we close this week's episode?
No breaking news. I think we're in the clear. Nice, tight show, I think, this week. I've definitely woken up since hitting the record button on everything.
You were grumpy when we started.
Man, I was grumpy. I mean, I don't drink coffee. I don't do that in the morning. I really don't even eat breakfast. Maybe I just don't really do that for my morning routine. I'm usually not hungry in the morning.
Yeah.
But, man, I don't know what it was. It's just something about getting up before the ass crack of dawn and doing a podcast with your dad. It just, I don't know.
Should I make you breakfast next time?
I mean, if you had an omelet sitting here waiting
biscuits
for...
and gravy.
Oh, my God. Hold on. If you got me some biscuits and maybe some sausage, like sausage links, or a McGriddle if you wanted to run and get me a Mickey D's, a McGriddle, or how much I love Wendy's breakfast. I'd take a Wendy's breakfast, or for next week, can I have a Taco Bell breakfast? That breakfast crunch wrap is delicious.
But I will say,
welcome to this week's segment of Food Talk, where Adam breaks down his top 5 breakfast items from fast food places. Number 5, we're gonna start with. You let me go through with this bit.
I was just going to let you hang yourself out there. Your mom and I went down to Atlanta, and during our trip, we ate at Cracker Barrel 3 times, and we love that place. When we took you kids to Disney World, we stopped there all the time.
I remember.
A couple times on the way down.
We did a trip. We stopped every night.
Hated it.
Every night we stopped. We stopped in a town that started with the letter G, and then every time we stopped to eat, it was at a Cracker Barrel.
And they usually put us in the same table. There's a big round table right behind.
I think you started requesting the same table.
No, it was because there were 6 of us, so they had to put us at a bigger table, and that's always where they put us. It's the same place. And so after that, every time we'd say, "Hey, there's a Cracker Barrel coming up," all you kids would just yell, "No, we don't want to eat there. We want to go to McDonald's."
Sounds about right.
Yeah,
I'm still like that.
Yeah, you.
No, sure I don't want to go to the Lions game. I just want to go to McDonald's. Why are we driving all the way across the state for this?
There's a classic Big Boy in it for you.
I'm tempted. Because every time I try to stop at a Big Boy's in this state, it's closed.
Yeah. But they're open at the stadium.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all the time we got for this week. If you learned something.
If you want to tune into Food Talk, leave the hashtag
Shut up.
Food Talk
If
World
you
of
learned
Football.
something during this podcast about the incredible amount of diversity that exists in the world of football, then we have done our job. Visit our website at theworldoffootball.com for news, links, upcoming events, videos, and more. Our email address is info@theworldoffootball.com.
YouTube idea. Here we go. Whenever we go to a football thing, we have to do a food review video of whatever food or snacks they got there. And there's a couple of tubby dudes. I think we can get away with this. I think it's expected at this point.
Well, I should have gotten a selfie of me with the Big Boy mascot at the Lions game.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda, Randy.
Wearing a Lions jersey.
You done screwed up. You can also like the World of Football on Facebook, TWOF Kalamazoo, where he posts lots of pictures of himself in really grainy photos at the College Football Hall of Fame.
Hey, I'm getting a better phone. Don't worry.
Yeah. I'll believe it when I see it. You can also see great pictures and highlights from other stuff that happened in the world of football, not just Randy's vacation photos, which, by the way, you should post some of the whale videos. Those were pretty cool. You can also follow our Twitter, where you can still see all those grainy pictures of Randy on his vacation at TWOF Kalamazoo.
This was a working vacation.
New episode. I expect to see this written off on the tax forms later this year.
Well, we got in for free, so I can't really write it.
What about the hundreds of dollars you spent at the gift shop?
Oh my God, yeah.
New episodes of.
I'm sorry. Yeah, we got in for free, and then I turned around and spent $170 at the gift shop.
Good Lord, Randy. That T-shirt was $170.
No, I bought more than just this T-shirt.
New episodes of this podcast are posted every Tuesday and are available on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and on our YouTube channel, which is The World of Football, Kalamazoo, if you're interested. So please come subscribe, rate, review on that YouTube channel. Give us a like. Leave a comment. We also like to know what you guys think, what you'd like to see from us, because we just want you to come and be a part of the football conversation, and we would like to deliver those football conversations and talk about what you guys want to hear. Just let us know what it is.
All right. And once again, we are doing our weekly NFL picks this year, but this year they're exclusively available on our YouTube channel. So look for them every Thursday throughout the season.
Yep, we're about to record that so everybody can see your stinking shirt.
Yep. Now
the only reason he wants to do it on video, so he can show off every new shirt he buys.
Yeah, thank God you're awake now for for being on video.
Oh, I guess.
And remember, folks, some people may love football more than we do, but nobody, and I mean nobody, loves more football than we do. Join us again next week when we'll review all the happenings in and around the world of football. Until then, I'm Randy Snow.
And the top 5 breakfast food items are number 5. You're not going to stop me again?
No.
Goodness gracious. See you next week, everybody.